Welcome to the 24K Life podcast. I'm your host, Derek Gant. This is one of those special episodes that I do where I kind of lay out, based on my 30 years of experience and expertise, how you can best maneuver in our current economy to make sure that the money game you're playing has the right ticket. The 24K Life podcast is your golden gate to your personal success. 24K Life is all about you elevating your self-mastery game so that you're in complete control of who you are, so that you can add the immense value required by society to go get your money. It is a movement of people, of high achievers that are interested and ready to elevate their life. I know that you have been working hard for many years, and I know that the reward and the results that you're receiving don't equate to what you see in your mind. So we want to dive into resetting the money game so that you can figure out how to start reaping the rewards from all your years of hard work and service, so that you can start to see the fruits of your labor. The spoils of war are yours, and you have been in a war. Now, I did an episode recently on why they want you broke, and we talked about several strategies and things that the system has set up and structured for us to remain in this fight. The fight is, hey, make $100,000 and spend $100,000 so that because you're a great person and because you're noble and because you're brilliant and smart and because you'll never quit, they want you to spend everything that you make. They want good people like you in the game, fighting as a pawn, not as a king, queen, not even a bishop or a knight. They want you as a pawn, fighting diligently, like a good soldier should, willing to give up your life, as in your health, your mental satisfaction, your mental health, your financial health, your ability to have more fun. They want us tied down, and we're going to help you figure that out. Now, I am a 30 plus year financial consultant with more experience than I can shake a stick at. I'm telling you, I've helped thousands and thousands of families change the dynamics of their financial trajectory so that they can enhance their own wallets. The last time we talked about spending money, and we talked about the importance of figuring out how to keep money. And this episode, we're going to dive into a reset. Now, I shared with you all that I bought the big house and I had the cars and did all the amazing things, the wonderful vacations. And I decided after many years, that wasn't being a good patient. As a financial doctor, I wasn't being a good financial patient. And some of you have asked me, hey, what does that mean? What did you do differently? What happened with the big house that you bought? Well, let me tell you, when you look to reset, sometimes it comes on the heels of being forced to reset. And in 2007, 2008, when the stock market crashed and the economy crashed, and my income was derived from the percentage of results that clients get on their money, on my clients making money, you have to reset. I didn't lose any revenue, but man, I wasn't gaining like I should have or thought I should have. And everybody was hurting. So, through a series of circumstances and life changes and divorces and those type of things, you are forced to, if you have any intelligence at all, to evaluate, more importantly, reevaluate your life and make some changes and decisions that will help you to understand the decisions that you made in the past, to identify the things that you should do differently. We always want a reset button. I want a reset button. If I could go back and keep what I know to when I was 20, I'd be a billionaire by the time I was 30. But we can't do that. What we can do is say, I'm going to take all those resources and become who I should have been in the next series of years. So at my current disposition, I'm 58 years old, still fit, still active, still able to process, still hungry to be and deliver all that I am to society, I'm going to share with you my reset. So I bought the big house. It was a very big house, more house than four people could ever really truly need. But, we wanted that image and we wanted the luxury and we wanted the lifestyle. But let me tell you, we had rooms that we didn't even go into. There's rooms we didn't visit. I spent most of my time in the big basement, with the movie theater and the pool gaming room and the fitness center. It was an amazing space. However, you really want to evaluate where you want your time, your energy, and your resources. And you want to play the long game at all times. So yes, I thought I was playing the long game, but through my mentors, through continuously learning, through watching market cycles, I realized that most likely, I was able to get the big house. I was going to have to fight even harder to keep the big house. We talked about the maintenance being $500 a pop, no matter who was going to do what, if they were looking at the sprinklers, if they were looking at the electrical system, if they were just giving you a quote, man, it was $500 because they see you living in this expensive neighborhood in this amazing house, and contractors automatically dinged up to their premium service, including estimates. But those are the things that you need to know as you're making money so that you can keep the money and not fall prey to the system of more, not fall prey to the false desires of more or matching. So in my situation, let me just tell you the skinny on it. With the house specifically, my mentor told me after I purchased the house that you never buy a house as an investment. You buy a house based on the lifestyle that you want to live. And what that simply means is that I bought this house out of bankruptcy. It was a mansion. It was huge. Somebody else had a hard time and they had to file bankrupt and let it go. I bought it out of bankruptcy. So I was looking at it as an investment and as a luxury item, but more so, hey, this is going to be a great come up for our family. I invested over $200,000 in getting it up to speed because it was empty and it sat empty. It was bankrupt. So, no one was in the house for years. So we got it up. It was beautiful. It was amazing. We did all the things, great light fixtures, landscaping, $30,000. I mean, it was an ordeal to own this property, and we were happy. It was amazing. Was it worth it? That's what we're going to talk about. So I lived in this house for 11 years, and let's just say mathematically, I paid just around $700,000 in mortgage payments to be in this house. I put $200 plus $1,000 in the house, and so that's $900,000 over 11 years. Now, I sold the house in a down market out of necessity, not necessity because I was broke, necessity because I got divorced and everybody wanted their money. So if you do the math, and let's just suggest that I got $250,000 back. So I got all my money back, everything I put in on a down payment and those type of things, I got my money back. So then you're just left with the mortgage payments, and say we broke even on the mortgage payments. When you do the math, it's just shy of $700,000 over 11 years. I call that a very expensive rent, because if you buy something and you don't sell it for a really good profit, you broke even. And if you broke even, but you still paid for the opportunity to live, that's called rent in the big picture. And so we got our money back, but we paid rent. And that rent was $700,000 over 11 years. That is a huge sum of money. How many people would be more than elated to live in a paid for $300,000 house or $400,000 house? For that matter, a $250,000 house. So you learn these lessons as you go. And fortunately for you, I'm here having suffered these atrocities to give you the insights to help you reset properly. So it's not that I would never buy a big house or a mansion again. It's more so where the value of my time, my energy, and my long game plan resides. And for me, I would rather own a $350,000 home and own a $350,000 vacation home and own them outright with the same $700,000 that I paid in rent and be completely enthralled and happy. So that's the house. Some of you asked me, so I wanted to explain what happened there. It wasn't a mistake. It was a learning lesson. Luckily, we didn't lose any money on that learning lesson, but it still was a learning lesson, and we still could have used $700,000 in a more efficient, effective, and meaningful, profitable way. So what do you think about when you reset? For me, it's acknowledging and taking 100% ownership of the decisions that you have already made. And when you evaluate those decisions, when you evaluate the results of those decisions, you can easily determine in retrospect, looking back, you can determine what were good decisions and what were poor decisions. You can also determine what would I have done differently. I take full ownership, especially as the financial genius of the family, of what we did and what we didn't do and how we did it. So let's just suffice to say, the first step, the first rule in resetting is to acknowledge the past, acknowledge where you got where you are. And then you want to assess if you're happy where you are. If you're not happy and you decide, hey, I could have done that a lot differently, because believe me, it was an amazing 11 years. Love the 11 years. Not just the house, but the house, the family, everything. But when you reset, you hit that reset button and you want to start over. You want a fresh start. You want to start today. I want you to understand that hitting that button simply means that you've made an incredible decision, that you're going to do better. You're not going to make the same mistake twice. How many people do you know that have been divorced multiple times and they keep marrying the same person, right? They've been married 3, 4, 5 times and they keep marrying the same person. They keep dating the same person. They have not reset and reassessed, reevaluated. I love to call it recalibrating, what their end game is, who they are, and what they bring to the table. When we talk about finances, you want to know what you're bringing to the table, and you want to know what you plan to do. If your plan is to spend every dollar that you make, you don't need a plan. Just go out there and do what you do. But if your plan is to retire early, if your plan is to be a philanthropist, if your plan is to help other people elevate up, and it takes money to do that, then you need to hit the reset button, evaluate your past history, decide if you're happy with that, and then recalibrate and structure a new plan. So in my scenario, I reduced my housing greatly, right? I still live in a space that's way too big for just one person, but it's an amazing space, and it is grossly less than what I was doing. So now I have a home fund. My washer went out not too long ago, and I had the resources to go ahead and not take it out of cash flow. I had saved some money because I knew it was going to go eventually. I knew how old it was. And I had the same thing for my car, same thing for the home when we put the new roof up, all the things that are necessary. So you recalibrate, you readjust, and now I've allocated accounts for certain circumstances. If I want a vacation, I have a vacation fund. Every month we put money in the vacation fund, and we determine the vacation that we take based on the amount that's in the fund. It's not hard. You don't need to fight with your spouse. You don't need to argue over money because one wants to go left and one wants to go right. Here's what you do. You structure a relationship with money, with your partner, so that everyone's needs are met in the time frame that they're willing to invest their value in the separate accounts. That's the nice way of saying, look, structure a home fund, structure a vacation fund, structure, an expense fund, structure an emergency fund, and you put money in these accounts. You have a Christmas account. That's the one most people are familiar with. And once you put the money in the account and people want to go on amazing vacations, hey, as the man, I don't want to say, oh, baby, we can't afford that. I want to say, hey, what do we have in a vacation fund? And we can blow the whole account to make you happy if that's what you want to do. But you got to have the money there. And now you're not going into credit card debt. Now, there's some things about the credit cards. You still want to use them, but I'll have another episode on that another day. But for now, let's just talk about cash, just to make it simple. So you have the cash to do the things. You have the cash for the new car because we have a car replacement fund. So, it is not rocket science, but what I will tell you is that the number one cause for divorce, at least domestically, is a lack of communication. And every time I hear that, I ask the people that are telling me that, or I listen to, I say, okay, well, what are they communicating about? Or what aren't they communicating about? And guess what? Number one, always the money. It's always the money. It's the money, honey. Listen, money makes the honey better. The more money, the more honey, right? It just is what it is. More options, more opportunities, more choices, less arguing. And I'm not just saying that from the standpoint of rich people don't argue or get divorced, because they do, but they also argue over the money. So it's not about how much money, it's how the money is allocated. And everybody wants to be independent, right? I mean, you want to be together, but independent. Men don't want to be emasculated. You don't want to go ask mommy for money. Who wants to ask your wife for money or your partner for money? Is it okay if I do X, Y, or Z? No, that doesn't work. It's emasculating. I'm telling you right now, ladies, if that's what you're doing, it's wrong. You're wrong. He will never feel like the man. And if he doesn't feel like the man, he's never going to treat you like the woman. And women don't want to go ask daddy for money. I can't believe to tell you how many clients that I have where the man is an extremely highly paid breadwinner. He allocates a set budget amount to the wife for household items like, groceries and to pay the bills and all those type of things. And that's her money. And then when she wants to do something above and beyond, she has to go ask daddy for money, or her husband. I'm being facetious. And she doesn't want to go do that. She shouldn't have to go do that. So if you allocate things and you discuss these things properly ahead of time, it will eliminate a lot of consternation in your relationships and in your home. And even if you're single, I had a client that had a repair that was in the middle of the street, all the way through the sidewalk, up under the front of their lawn. And anything between the street and the sidewalk, in between the street and your lawn, is your responsibility. Thousands and thousands of dollars they had saved in their emergency fund, in their home repair fund. And they called me and they were crying. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And they were like, honestly, I'm upset that I had to spend $7,000, $8,000 for this repair that wasn't my fault. But I'm crying out of tears of joy because I had the money, because we structured my finances so that I could cover any major emergency without going into debt, without ruining my cash flow. And those are the things that honestly make life worth living. I used to have the mindset that, you really couldn't have fun along the way. And it wasn't that I said, no, you can't have fun. It was more so that I was against taking vacations when you didn't have the money sitting right there, or you only use credit cards, or even planning for them when you had some other bills and going shopping. I mean, I was really against all that. And I didn't say no because, when you're working with clients, it's their money. But I was mentoring them. I was coaching them. And it wasn't until I spoke with my sister, my big sis, and I asked her, I said, listen, sis, you go on a lot of vacations and I make more money than you. And I don't understand how you're able to do all that all the time. And number one, she didn't have the big house, so I wasn't thinking clearly. But number two, more importantly, I said, what do you have in your emergency fund? And she told me, and what do these average vacations cost? And she told me, and I was like, I would be more comfortable if maybe you didn't take so many vacations, or maybe you should stop taking vacations until you get your emergency fund to this absurd level that I told her she should have it at. And she says, she goes, brother, I work to travel. So if I don't have a destination or a reason to work, I probably would implode. And I really thought about that from the standpoint of many people have a reason, sending kids to college. They want to travel. They want a new home. They want a new car. There's some reason that drives them to continuously go to work. And it's not just for a rainy day. It's just not for retirement. It's something closer. And so I started to really analyze what she was sharing with me, and I started to apply it to my own life, and then I started to apply it to my clients' lives. And what do I mean by that? I didn't say don't go on vacation anymore. I said, hey, why don't we plan 2 really, really nice vacations and 2 smaller getaways? And then we can still put more money in our emergency fund. We can put more money in our home repair fund, but we can also get the breaks that are needed and required. Now, travel wasn't my thing, but I like motorcycles. I like toys. And so I could create these accounts and reward myself based on my diligence, my consistency, so that I had something to work towards as well. You know, I actually did start traveling a little bit more. My partners were a little bit more happy that I took time and invested in the relationship a little bit more. And so I would say to you that hitting reset means that you're going to recalibrate. You're going to take a look at where you are, where you want to go, still playing the long game, and then figure out how to get the fun and the family all mixed up into your strategy. If you're playing the long game, because I was saying I was playing the long game, but I really wanted that ish right now. I really wanted that savings right now. And that's the way I was playing the game, stacking large sums quickly. So now I've incorporated going on vacations, which I actually go on a guy's golf trip. I take my partner on vacation maybe 3-4 times a year. And so I've had more fun along the way. And I will tell you, it has to have amazingly additionally good health benefits. It has to help you take a break from the grind and the toil. And I'm not suggesting that everybody's life is a grind or toil, because I absolutely love what I do, how I do it, when I do it, and who I do it with. You know, I love to work. It is my habit, it's my hobby, it's my fix. But I also know that I need to take a break from it and do other things. You know, I'm the same way about fitness. It's my habit, it's my hobby, it's my fix. But understanding that when you reset and you recalibrate and you do it in the rear view mirror of what didn't work before, and you accompany that with the expertise of a professional fitness coach. Maybe you have a life coach. Maybe you have a money coach. Maybe you have all of those coaches, and you figure out how to get that book finally written. You figure out how to start and launch that business. You know, those are the jewels of life that are here for you to help you elevate, to vibrate higher, and to flow along this journey in a way that helps you to be your absolute best, living your 24K lifestyle. You know, if I could do it all over again, this is the advice I would give younger me. Get in the game, play the game, read your ass off, learn as much as you can, have fun, love other people, have amazing relationships, and just be the best you can be at every opportunity that's given to you. I'm Derek Gant. Be your best, bring your best, leave nothing to chance.